All right. Julie, if I can hand over to you then, please.
Okay, thank you very much. What we're about to show, to make sure that everyone here has actually seen the ad that we'll be discussing, is the most recent fundraising advert that's been released by the Alzheimer Society, and called The Long Goodbye. It's been quite controversial over here, and I think you'll see why as soon as we start to see it. And it's been very, very distressing, both to people who have dementia and to family members. It's something which was initially shown to myself and Hilary and other members of the steering group of Three Nations a few months ago. But it was shown as a completed film, and the steering group is made up of people who have dementia purely. The Three Nations, the entire membership, is made up of people with dementia. And everybody on the steering group had said to the society, you can't show this, it's not appropriate, it's very negative, and it's just too distressing. And the lady who made it was very nice and said she'd go away, make adjustments and bring it back for our approval. And we didn't hear anything back. And the first thing we knew was when it was being put out on all the television channels, in its original form, there had been no adjustments made to it. And so we'll run the ad and then talk about, I'll talk about my reactions to it, and then Maxine will be coming in because she actually not only was putting in a personal complaint, but started a petition to the campaign against it.
Mum first died on the 12th of May 2019 when she couldn't work out how to prepare a legendary roast anymore. The style icon of the Covington estate. Mum died as a fashionista the day she couldn't get dressed into her colourful outfits. Mum, it's okay, take your time. Some of the outfits we'll all be glad to see the back of. She died as the Queen of Christmas when she refused to have dinner with the family. She died again when she asked me, her son, what my name was. She died as Dad's rock after 52 years of marriage, the day she looked straight through him. On the 10th of March 2024, Mum died the final time, surrounded by her family.
With dementia, you don't just die once. You die again and again and again. Which is why at Alzheimer's Society, we'll be with you again and again and again.
But I think that gives you some idea of how bad this advert was. All of us try so hard to constantly fight the stigma that there is around dementia. And yet here we are at fundraising time again. And our largest dementia charity in the UK choose to present an advert which is about with dementia you die again and again and again, and going through the changes. For example, the first time Mum died was when she couldn't cook the Sunday roast. You know, as if this is all a wife and a mother, and a woman is as useful for it as the family cook. I was never very good at cooking. I don't know about the rest of you ladies. I was always terrible, but it didn't mean that I was ever dead or useless. It just meant I wasn't a good cook. But the family put up with me anyway. The next was when she was unable to dress herself. This terminology would not be found acceptable if this person was talking about so many other conditions. If someone had advanced cancer, or had a stroke, or had MND, it wouldn't be even dreamed of using this terminology. But it seems that with dementia, it's so often, unfortunately, seemed acceptable. And one of the other sections touched on next time she died was when she refused to eat the Christmas dinner with everyone. Well, we all know about sensory overload and how overwhelming that can be. You can still have family dinners and family celebrations, just they have to be made more manageable, reasonable adjustments for you. And so they can still go ahead. It shouldn't be seen as writing that person off because they've died. And something that was particularly galling to me was when she died because she'd looked right through her husband after 52 years of marriage. And I think back to both my mum and my dad in their turn had dementia. By the time my mum and dad had been married 54 years, Dad lost the ability to speak. He didn't recognise the relationship between him and Mum anymore. But whenever she went to see him in the care home, he always had a bright smile for her. He'd sit there holding her hand, thoroughly enjoyed the fact that this nice lady had come to see him, and found great comfort from her being there. And never once did myself and my mum ever see that my dad had died. He didn't die, he was still dad, he was still a person. And so all these things are reasons why we found it so amazingly offensive. I'll hand over to Maxine at this point because she's the one who took action and raised a petition about it.
Oh, thanks, Julie. Yes, I think I just, the other thing I'd add is that there's a whole load of pictures of the mother when she's young. And nobody's the same when they're older as when they're young. So it's a bit like saying that person is instantly gone as soon as they get diagnosed with dementia. So they feel to me as if there's all sorts of kind of slightly tricky miscalculations. And one of my criticisms is that it's not accurate. And another one is that it's distressing. And another one is that anyone will see this film and that is going to give them ideas from what they see as an authoritative organisation in the country that this is what's true. And so this is setting back years of work to change the attitudes towards dementia. And I think that's very unacceptable. especially when, as Julie said, they'd consulted you and you'd said no. I mean, that was ignored. So there's all sorts of things about it, but if I just talk about what was there for me, somebody sent me this and said, be careful when you watch it. And I couldn't resist it. So I put it on. I was on the bus at the time. And I was so deeply shocked to see that. It probably didn't come over because it wasn't showing itself well enough, but it was really shocking. And after that, I felt furious. I just felt so angry. And it was almost like I felt so angry that I had to do something. It wasn't enough just to go home and, you know, swallow the anger or talk to individuals about it. I really wanted to try and make a difference. And I'd never done it before, but I started a petition that day. And I wanted to do it on my own because I didn't want to implicate anybody else or any organisation about it. Because it had only just come out. So it got no idea what kind of responses there were going to be to the campaign. And then as the week, it's only a month ago, isn't it, Julie, about that when it came out?
About that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gathered a huge momentum here. Not the petition, I mean, there's just been lots of people and organisations who've come out to say this is not acceptable, including Alzheimer's Scotland and the dementia community. And there's another one coming out this week. And people seem to have really gathered around this. And it's not just people living with dementia, it's also their carers and families, and it's also professionals. So the petition started a bit slowly, and I'm not an expert in all that, and I don't know how far it's spread, but we started to get about 100 signatures a day. And when we finish, we've not quite finished it being there yet, but it's now being finished as far as delivering it is concerned. We've got over 1,600 signatures, which isn't a lot in the world of 50,000 or whatever, but it's a lot in terms of a very small attempt to get something going. And there's over 100 comments on the petition, which are very, very moving. And they come from people of all those different kinds, the professionals, the carers, the families, and the people living with dementia. So that's been a bit astonishing, really. And in the process of that, I've been talking to lots of people around it. And the latest up-to-date news, I don't want to go into all the detail, but we were planning to deliver it to the Alzheimer's Society this week. So it was really on the edge. It's all been printed out. I think it's 150 pages or something of signatures and comments. And I'm doing it now with 2 other people, and we contacted the Alzheimer's Society and said we'd like to deliver it, and would a couple of key people be willing to be there to receive it. And we've had a reply saying no, they're not willing to be there to receive it. Which personally threw me. I was so astonished that they weren't willing to do that. That yesterday I just went, oh, I can't bear this any longer. So the other 2 are carrying on with trying to get that changed and trying to get something happening, but we will still deliver it. whether they're willing to be there or not, but it seems quite shocking.
And this is news to me as well, and I find that just outrageous. The thing is that there's what we're trying to say, what I'm trying to say is not to demonize the Alzheimer's Society. They've done some wonderful work over the years, and no organisation, whoever they are, is perfect and never makes a mistake. But when you make something such a major mistake that's upset so many people, you should have the humility to come out, admit to the fact that you got it wrong this time, apologise, and stand up and take responsibility. And so, you know, and be able to say, you know, we'll take your petitions, we'll listen to you. And I'm just so sorry that's happened, Maxine.
Yeah, I think the other thing I didn't say was that many people there's people who've complained to the Charities Commission, to the Advertising Standards Authority, who have codes of how people should behave on advertising and what it should be like. And there's somewhere else as well. And the Advertising Standards Authority put it through their first stage and decided that there needed to be an investigation. And it's being investigated for being unnecessarily distressing, offensive, and I can't remember what the third one is. But they're now going through a 6-week process of that investigation. And there is word that they're going to withdraw the advertisements while that's going on, but I've heard that they're still going on. And they're being shown in cinemas. So there's no way you can avoid them if you go to the cinema. And they also, I'll just add this, they wrote an email to the carers' email addresses that they have, giving a trigger warning, saying that people shouldn't watch the advert if they were feeling upset or vulnerable. I probably can't say any more than that at the moment. It'd be just good to hear how you feel about it.